welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a sketchbook sketching video. This is a series where I just take out my sketchbook. I'm not planning what I'm doing and I'm going to be very messy and just let go. Nothing has to be perfect and just see what happens. So I struggle a little bit with this series because sometimes it's hard to let go and just be messy and not worry about it being perfect looking. But today I don't know, something clicked. It was just so easy. It was just super messy and I loved every minute of it, and it came out really nicely. So I'm just really kind of happy with how this turned out. And yeah, we'll go into more of like the meaning behind this image towards the end of the video. And first I'll talk quickly about like what I'm using, and also I found a new way to use one of my tools that's like really kind of cool to me. So first, I recently bought some Copic multiliners. I had already bought the pink and the sepia to try out, and they're both okay. They're all right. I like them. The pink's a little like bright, as I had mentioned in the Usagi drawing. But this is the first time I'm using the cool gray set that I bought like just I think a week or two ago. I don't know if it will ever take over the black multiliners as being my favorite, but it's pretty close. They are so far my favorite multiliners next to my black multiliners. They worked really, really well for this illustration, and I have used them in other sketches and I really like them so far. So the other things I'm using in this drawing is my Schmincke Watercolors. I recently scraped out my plastic palette to put the paint from the plastic palette into the watercolor pans that I bought recently, and it left a little bit of like leftovers in the plastic palette that I want to kind of clear away. So I mostly use that for this drawing. That actually dictated the hair color of this girl. I had a different idea when I first started, but I just kind of wanted to use the paint. So yeah, the color came like out a little bit different, but I think it still works. And I'm using my Pentel Aquash watercolor brushes. So what I was talking about earlier, I found a new way to use something I've had before, and I don't think I've ever seen another artist do that, and that's the Aquashes. So while I was coloring the background, I did the background early with this drawing because I had an idea and I just didn't. If I don't do the background first, I feel like I won't do it at all. I'll feel like the drawing is too precious. I can't mess it up. I can't do it. So while I was doing that, at one point I had flicked my Pentel Aquash and I got a little drop of black ink black watercolor on the paper. And when I did that, I was like, oh, I could totally use these like regular watercolor brushes where I just load it up with pigment and flick it onto the paper, and it gives like a really nice effect, which is something that I think would work really well with this illustration. So I started doing that just to get the little dots of black, and then I realized that I'm actually flicking drops of water at the same time. So it gave this really cool effect for the background, and I absolutely love it. It was so much fun. I did it so much in this drawing, and I will definitely be doing this again. Like, to me, my water brushes are kind of like, I like regular brushes a bit more because I can control the water a lot easier. But the water brushes have their purpose, but finding out this made them so much more valuable to me. Like, it is a really interesting technique, and I haven't seen other artists mention it. So yeah, if you have a water brush, flick some paint on the paper at the same time you get water come out, and it gives a really cool effect. So yeah, I hope that it's helpful for you guys too. So yeah, other than that, I also use my fine tech colors for a little bit of sparkle at the end to try to bring out some of the elements. I actually didn't want there to be a sparkle in this drawing because it's like a darker image, a moodier image, but I needed to bring out the girl's tears and make it more obvious. So I ended up using like the lighter color in the fine tech gold palette. I don't remember what it's called, but that really does help to bring out the tears a bit more, and I think it was a really nice effect at the end. To give the drawing a more unified feel, I also used some of the colors from the background in the girl's hair and skin. I thought that the blue in her shirt actually went really well in her hair to tone it down in certain shadowy areas, which really gave a more desaturated feel for the whole drawing. I really wanted her colors not to be too bright. I wanted them to be a little desaturated and a little more grayed out, but still have color. So I think that ended up turning out really well. So I think that's it for the actual drawing and the process and the materials. So now I'll move on to the meaning of this drawing. So this last week was actually the anniversary of the 2nd year since my mother passed away. So I've started this tradition, which I keep quite private. I do some personal artwork where I pour my grief into my artwork as well as in remembrance of my mother. And I feel like this year I've done a lot more artwork. I feel like losing someone so close to you, you will never really get over that. It just gets slightly easier to deal with it every year. And it definitely seems like it was slightly easier to deal with overall this year. But when I did let myself grieve, it was still really painful and really hard. So yeah, I hope if anyone else out there listening also is going through that you know it'll be okay. But try to express your grief sometimes. It helps a lot. So with this drawing, it just it isn't me. It isn't anyone I know. The girl is just a random girl. But I'm just trying to show the feeling of the grief. And I hope that comes through. So yeah, I really hope you guys like this drawing. And if you did, definitely let me know by leaving me a comment down below and giving this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. I post art-related videos every week. And next week, I will definitely have a more cheery drawing. I actually have something that I'm working on right now. If you want to see a work in progress, definitely check out my Instagram. I already have it up there, and that one should be finished for next week. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!